One day, the Self-Advocacy Federation began talking about being able to speak for and represent ourselves, get a decent job, not live in poverty, get a decent education, and own our own homes. We talked about support staff reducing our privacy and conducting their business in our homes, telling us who we should have relationships with, and getting involved in our relationships with family and friends, hanging up our med, food, and weight and bowel movement charts in our kitchens. You know how embarrassing that is. We have talked about having to live in group homes or support homes rather than having our own homes. We were talking about our own experiences of oppression. We decided to connect with other groups to see what we could learn from each other. We met with other groups in a World Cafe to talk about all our journeys. We learned that for most groups, the journey towards freedom began with feeling angry, proud of who we are, and being ready for change. That change happens when we as oppressed people join together to have a stronger voice. At the World Cafe, we learned that taking action together to fight for freedom is what will make this world a better place to live in.
They're my allies.
That's your security.
Ally is.
I know what an ally is. That's what that's my opinion.
Ally is.
Makes you feel
No,
safe.
that's my opinion.
I can write upside down. Tell it to her.
And the more you have a choice in that in your life in that the more you have a choice, the more you grow.
Okay, yeah.
Good food. Good food.
One of the things we learned was that when people don't have their freedom, they lose their identity and can't decide for themselves who they are. Labels are oppressive, make people ashamed of who they are. We continue to be segregated, institutionalized, and abused because people are still seen for their labels instead of seen as people. One of our SAF members talked about living in Michener. He told us about the abuse he experienced both emotionally and physically. He said in the time he was there, he was transferred to 4 different wards, and in each the abuse and intolerance for who he was the same. One of the hardest things to endure was the lack of privacy. He said he was never allowed to go to the bathroom in private. There was always a staff with him. He was regularly hit and often thrown inside rooms for speaking out against the abuse he suffered. One of his most haunting memories is not the abuse that happened to him, but to a friend who died as a result of the physical abuse he suffered. He said the staff had it in for him and picked at him constantly. Fortunately, this SAF member now lives in his own home, has his own business, works 4 days a week, volunteers in his community, and has a girlfriend. He says the best things about his life now is that he comes and goes as he wants, he can eat what he wants, when he wants, and does his own thing. The doors are locked or by his choosing, not by the choice of an institution. We have experienced oppression in many ways, mostly because we are seen as a disability rather than a whole person. The stigma of being disabled means that we are seen as incapable, a drain on taxpayers' dollars. We need to be looked after and mostly out of sight, out of mind.
How many of you have heard people say, oh, you can't understand what a relationship is like? How many of you have proved those people wrong? I did!
That's what it's in Red Deer, and I got myself the Oreo, and I got myself the roll door.
What do you think of all those signs, you guys? That's wonderful.
Thanks. My name's Derek. I'm representing Edmonton, Alberta, Self-Advocacy Federation. We're talking about love. I used to live in a group home 5 years ago, and I never had any care in there. And all my staff would just pay attention to the TV. When I asked for help, they never did nothing. And so where do you get the help? We got to speak our mind, and we got to show who's the boss. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Stacy. I used to live in a group home a couple years ago. The staff were take over the house, tell us what to do. When we go out, we have a certain curfew to come back in. I moved out about a year ago, and I live independently, but I'm not on my own. I live with Derek. He's my other half, and we are getting married in 2 years. Finally.
As a society, we've found many ways to let different types of people all lead successful lives, but we are still working towards having our successes be known. Changes need to be made within disability culture itself, as well as in society at large. People need to learn to value themselves and others, even for their differences. We are moving forward, even though there is still lots to learn. We learned that progress has been made. There have been many successes. Women in Canada have the right to vote. are no longer seen as property and can own property in their own name. Residential schools have been torn down, and an apology to the First Nations people has been given by Prime Minister Harper for being institutionalized and mistreated in residential schools. In 2010, Canada ratified the United Nations Convention of Rights of People with Disabilities. Canada is committed to promoting and protecting the rights of persons with disabilities and enabling their full participation in society, said Minister Cannon. Many institutions that house people with developmental disabilities are closed down in Canada. Like Michener in Alberta, have reduced their population, although places like Halcyon are still being built. There have been success stories from the members of the Self-Advocacy Federation.
Hi, I'm Scott Goulet.
Hi, I'm Barbara Simo.
Yeah, Marjorie Thompson.
My name is Stacy. I'm originally from Newfoundland.
My opposition will be when I say something and when I keep repeating to them, they don't just listen to me when I'm talking to them.
I was 19 and that when I ran away from home, and I moved. I came into PDD services then, and I went to this place called Main Res. And the staff there are always like telling all the individuals what to do and how to do it, and it was just terrible. I just hated there.
I lived with my family at one point. Then I lived in a hospital for about 2 months. And then I was sent to Morinville, so I couldn't cook on a stove. I had to be watched. I couldn't use a microwave. I had a curfew, no house key. To get to town, you had to actually walk or cab it. I made one friend.
When I used to live in Newfoundland, I had an apartment. I lived on my own. When I was told I was moving to Edmonton, so I moved to Edmonton 6 years ago. When they found something, a group home, I didn't know what it was because I thought it was just another place, like an apartment. They had staff there. They had 24-hour staffing there. They were doing things for me. They were cooking things for me. They were telling me when I go out, tell me to when I come in. I had a boyfriend at the time, and every time I'd call him or he come me, I had maybe a certain amount of time to be on that phone. And the worst thing I hated was every beginning of each month, they had to weigh each girl. I didn't like that. That was invasion of privacy, and it was just like somebody was taking away my rights.
I did went to one of my classmates' group home for her birthday party, and I know what the group home is. The group home is where they had staff that they log up everything, and nobody can get into things, and they can't get any food, any snacks. And they tell them what time they have to be home.
I always voice my opinions and that with most of the staff. I always tell them, you know what, I don't like this situation. I don't like it here. It's just that I'm feeling suffocated, and I tell them that that I need to move somewhere else. So I moved in different group homes, and then like into this the last one, and then from there I moved out of that place. Now I know I live on my own, and that it's been about possibly about 7 or 8 years now since I lived on my own now. made me a lot more independent, a lot more freedom than living on my own, and that it's great.
I live on my own for 3 years in Edmonton. I have an awesome landlady. She checks on me, spoils me. I don't have somebody checking on me 24/7 saying, well, you need to change your bed, you need to shower, you need to do this, you need to clean your house, you need to do whatever. It comes down to that I can come in and I know I'm in a safe environment. Last year was the first year that when we were doing something in Calgary that I didn't hide from the public. I didn't shy away from the public in saying I have a disability when we did the Right to Love in Calgary. That was the first time I probably actually was proud of the fact that I was different. I don't feel like I have to hide from staff. I don't have to worry that somebody's gonna say, you didn't clean your room, do it. I mean, you didn't clean the kitchen, you didn't do your dishes. So it's a big difference.
People doing things for me like I wasn't used to it because where I came from, I was able to do things on my own. When I moved in a group home, they were telling me when to come in, when to go to bed. They cooked things for me that I didn't like. And if you didn't like it, you weren't allowed to get nothing else. It didn't do me justice because I was always depressed. I was lonely. I was just isolated. It's just isolation in that environment. With the help of a couple of friends and some people, maybe about 3 years ago I moved out my group home, and I couldn't have made a better move than moving out of my group home and moving on my own independently. I'm in a lot of meetings. I work 2 jobs. I got a lot of friends. I could have friends over to visit, maybe to stay overnight or have supper or just maybe to mingle, and we go places together. We go shopping or to movies or anywhere. We go out. We are not isolated from other people. We mingle with them.
An ideal world looks to me that individuals should live by themselves, live independently on their own, and not into group homes and whatnot. Places like Halcyon, should have never been built at all, because it's always about that place and that what I heard that is a segregated housing facility, and I'm just upset now that it's being built and that. So I don't like it at all. I think it should be something that should be ostracized altogether. I don't like it, and I don't think anybody should live that way. Nobody should. It's just that it upsets me so that individuals are stifled. They're always segregated all the time, and they're always they're not getting their voices out. They're not being heard.
My idea will be, I want to be just 1%. That's who I am. I want other people to do something, the same identity for their self. If I choose to have a messy house, or messy room, or messy everything, that's my choice. If I want to clean my own stuff, it is up to me to do it. And I don't want my parents to start coming in, making a tourist list what I need to do. I don't go in to my parents' house and say, oh, your table is dirty, your floor is dirty, your walking is dirty. Freedom means to me I have my own identity, living with my own independent, doing things on my own time.
First, freedom is being accepted as equals. Shift the power differential. We don't see we own the power or even that it's being shared with us. When sitting on boards, we are board interns, not board members. Why? We can contribute. Sometimes we can support to participate. The minister stuck a PDD advisory committee. Why are we not welcome at this table? We need to be supported to sit at this table. It is important that we are heard. Secondly, freedom is service that meets our needs. No more employment programs that have us sitting in a job prep for 30 years and never get us to find any work. No more day-wasting adult daycares. Provide us the opportunity and support so that we can contribute our gifts, strengths, and abilities. No more congregated, segregated living arrangements where someone else picks up our roommates and our staff, where we don't even know who is going to be supporting us by the next morning that we wake up. What is the 70 plus IQ and SIS about? We fear that it is actually about cutting our services and supports and not about what we actually need. They don't listen to me. Again, we need to shift that power differential. Third, freedom is a nice place to live in. We want homes, not group homes or support homes. We want our own homes. Places that are being built, such as the Halcyon, scare us. It sounds like a newer version of older institutions such as Michener. Freedom is being strong self-advocates. We need to sit on the advisory committees for PDD, along with our parents, service providers, and ACL staff. We need enough money to support the work that we do to help others find pride in disability. Fifth, freedom is having strong relationships. In our group, most of us know of a time that we had relationships with family members or potential partners influenced negatively by staff members or agencies that provide us services. Sixth, freedom is enough money to live on. We need to up age. We also need to let us make more than $400 before age starts clawing us back. Seventh, freedom is world peace. We can do our parts by educating society about respecting diversity. And number 8, freedom is a clean environment.
Here's what some of our members said freedom looked like. Here we are. Freedom means being contributing, respectful, equal citizens. Employment supports. Eliminate congregated, segregated, institutional settings that are not homes, no matter what name you give them. Being heard, being a leader, being able to marry, have and raise our own children, have strong relationships with family and friends, being able to paint my room purple, having an education. We will need to join with allies and other oppressed groups to create awareness and end discrimination, segregation, and oppression. We'll have to be proud of who we are, continue learning good leadership skills, and live our lives in a way that promotes awareness and acceptance of differences. We'll continue to fight for the right to be supported, to participate fully at those tables where decisions about our lives are being made. If you are watching this, hopefully you are interested or are an ally and are walking with us on our journey to freedom. Be welcome.
Just to be who you are. Just make your own life. Make your own decision.
Society sees us as people that are not worth anything. People with disabilities are not supposed to get married. We're not supposed to have kids. We're not supposed to fall in love. We're supposed to be in segregated group homes. Even our ministers and our government is oppressing us by putting rules in place that we don't have any say. Now, you have to have an IQ of 70 plus or minus 5 either way. And that's because the Minister of Community and Senior Supports has seen fit to, she wants to weed out.
We should walk with our heads held high, like we're like human beings, and we're not people that they can put down.
You never know, personally, what you can find in somebody. People can surprise you.
People treated me like I was still a baby. When I came here, everything was different. Well, in the group home, I was saying they still treated me like an adult, a baby. They done things for me, but as I moved out, it got easier. People don't talk down to me like a child. They talk up to me like I'm one of them, and I go places with adults. It's a nice thing to have be people treating you like an adult, not like a child, like you're not a child, you're an adult, you're able to do things on your own, you can do it.
Everybody should really get out there and get your voices out there. Let them, just let your feelings out and say what you want, and don't let anybody stifle you at all, and just do not let anybody get you down. Just break down those walls, and you'll have a very complete life altogether. Just let it all out.